our panel number 3. And with this, I would love to welcome Ulrich Ahle, CEO of Gaia-X, Manuel Mateo Goyer. He joins us today from the European Commission. He's the Deputy Head of Unit for Cloud and Software of DG Connect. Then Francisco Mignoran, Secretary General of CVSP, and Dr. Alice Panier. She comes in from the French Ministry of Economics and Finance and is there responsible for the project for Cloud HPC and quantum computing. So thank you so much for joining in today. And let me just give a short intro to this panel now, where we moved from the cloud service providers now to the initiatives that are happening in Europe. They've been ongoing, there's many of them ongoing for a long period of time, others upcoming. We want to look a little bit onto the progress, onto the success of the projects that many of you either have been leading in the past or today leading or even supporting in supporting Europe and further investments. And let's see a little bit with the voices of the institutions now, where we are boosting into our investments into cloud in this digital decade. We're, let's say, in the middle on the way of all the investments from also the European Commission side. So let me get started with Ulrich. So Ulrich, you're the CEO of Gaia-X. And with that, obviously leading a European government and a European strongly connected entity. Gaia-X was established to encourage really the use of cloud services while providing privacy and mechanisms to secure cybersecurity concerns. And a lot has been established in the past years. Now you're taking this on and bringing it to the next level. So tell us a little bit about where you think the last years really brought impact to Europe through Gaia-X, what may be missing and what's on the plate for the next years that you are driving to success.
Yeah, hello, Christina. Thank you for having me here and nice to see you again. As you said, Gaia-X has been created 3.5 years ago, a bit more, and we are contributing to the creation of a trustful digital ecosystem. So for data spaces, interoperable data spaces being operated on a federated cloud infrastructure. With this, paving a new way for data-driven business models, coming from an area where we all together have been working, and the last session talked about digital platforms. And we've been, I think, all together working in the last 20 years in creating digital platforms with a lot of effort to connect participants of such platforms to these platforms. Yeah, providers of data, be it IT systems, be it sensors, be it people, you and me, and also users of data. And what we are building up with the data spaces is a trustful environment where it is possible to connect automatically, to connect participants automatically to such data spaces without any additional effort. This requires a lot of standardization. So we need to agree on certain standards for example, identifying an organization, identifying a person, and authorizing a person. And this is where we are working on. At the same time, we are providing policies and rules for a trustful data management, for trustful cloud services. We just yesterday released our actual compliance document. And with this, we introduced certain security levels. We call them Gaia-X label, standard conformity, or label level 1, 2, and 3. And the higher the level is, the higher the security requirements are. And this is reflecting what our members are demanding. We have on the one side members, for example, from automotive industry, which require clearly global accessibility and global operation of their data. They don't care that much who is operating their data, where they are operated, where they are stored. The main purpose is global accessibility. And on the other hand, there are users, for example, operating critical infrastructure within a country. For them, it is very important to be sure that these data are operated within the borders of the country, that they are stored within the borders of the country, and that they are operated by organizations which are not under the influence of extraterritorial laws. And especially this part is reflected in the label level 3. And we will see in the next days announcements of large European organizations which will bring these requirements into their RFPs, requesting the market to apply to these regulations. And here we are fully in line with the legislation we have with the Data Governance Act, the Data Act, for the application within Europe. And maybe in a second round, as I see you getting nervous, in the second round,
not nervous at all.
How to do this outside of Europe and how to implement this global interoperability in digital ecosystems.
No, actually, I'm not nervous at all. I'm actually very excited to hear these good news. So compliments, Ulrich. I think that's awesome news, really. Also, it makes it really practical and also showing how GaiaX is moving forward. Also, let me say maybe trading more guidance in the jungle of regulations, which is definitely also very much welcomed. And this brings me to a next question, if you allow me. Going to Manuel, because Manuel, you're today here representing DG Connect. DG Connect has the focus on a general objective to really create a Europe fit for the digital age, being responsible for a series of programs. I'm just naming here the CEF project for Connecting Europe Facility, or Horizon Europe, and there's also others like the Digital Europe program. Said that, and you're the deputy head of cloud and software, so there couldn't be a better person than asking. Can you give us some insight into how these projects have been shaping Europe's digital cloud future? Maybe also connected what Ulrich just mentioned.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much, Christina, and good afternoon to all, in particular to Ulrich. Listen, the investment programs have by themselves undergone a very nice career, respectively. The three that you mentioned, Horizon, CEF, and DEP, have been for the last 4 years providing the much required funds needed to bring cloud software and the rest of the digital infrastructures. I'm preaching for my church, but I've got plenty of neighbors and other projects next to me working on other areas. Horizon is really the offspring of now 9 generations of funding programs that go back to the 80s, and is really the cornerstone of then over which the rest is built. CEF for the infrastructure, DEP more for deployment of services. It's probably in Horizon and DEP that we've done the most, and in the digital program in particular, the simple platform for which precisely tries to bring all those data ecosystems and federating them, and we work very closely with Ulrich, GaiaX, and a number of other. Anna was here a moment ago with other associations. But speaking about money, funds, and limiting to those 3 programs would be a bit limiting, in the sense that there's at least another 2 funds that have been used and have provided the biggest share of the money, which is the Resilience and Recovery Funds, and the important project of common European interest, the IPSAI. And altogether, so I won't detail all of them for the sake of time, but altogether, over the course of this commission, we've been investing at European level 7.5 billion euros. It's not all European money because the important projects, the IPSAIs, are national funds, but at least it's a coordinated investment. It's a huge amount of money. But then if you compare it, of course, to the figures put forward, and earlier we had an introduction of or the biggest headlines of yesterday's report by Professor Draghi. Of course, those amounts are hard to compare. 7.5 billion over 5 years against what would be 15 million per year. This is a complete radical different level of magnitude. But maybe just to conclude, the 7.5 have been useful, are producing effects, and it's not over because by spring of next year, it will be the turn to start preparing the next cycle of funding. So we're together with my colleagues thinking on how to make the best value for our Euro buckets.
So that's good news. Thank you, Manuel. Of course, it's always great to see how and where funds are getting invested. Obviously, it's not only about the numbers; it's also about the success they create, innovation, but also a sustainable competitive advantage we want to create for common one single European market. I could imagine that Francisco has a lot to say on this, because he actually needs to deal with this competitive situation that, yes, maybe very often we achieve, but in some cases we see ourselves also facing lots of challenges. So, Francisco, we heard a lot, especially in the past 12 months, I would say, about CISPA's work against problematic behaviors of the so-called legacy software vendors. CISPA is very active, besides the many other things you're doing, I cannot list them here all, to make clear statements and fight for a fair European market. You are leading this organization. You are also, you've also recently published a paper, sorry to say, the manifesto, the CISPA manifesto, that talks about a cloud locomotive, how to really accelerate the future. So I'd love to ask you, in your opinion, do you think that Europe has to surrender the fact that we will continue to cope with the gatekeepers simply by fighting this legal fight? Or do you think there can be a peaceful or fruitful, let me call it that way, co-living for the European market?
Hello, everybody. Just before I say anything, do you hear me?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, now I'm on a stable Wi-Fi, which is very important for infrastructure and for cloud computing. Thank you for the invitation. I'll come to your question in a minute, but I think when I hear Manuel and the discussion about is it enough, is it not enough, it's all a matter of comparison point. And if you, for example, if you see what is in the IPCE and how much it costs as an estimate to build one data center for a hyperscaler, perspective are different. So let's say if one data center is between 800 and a billion euro for one data center, so you can compare with what is in the IPCE and draw your own conclusion. And in terms of size, it speaks volume. On your question about I think it's related to the settlement, the recent settlement between Microsoft and CISPE and its member. So one thing I'd like to stress is that this settlement was negotiated with Aruba, the main sponsor of Dynamo, and the speaker Stefano Cecconi, the CEO that you have had just before. And he was personally and directly involved in this settlement negotiation with me. And if you ask him, he will probably say that what we achieved here is far beyond what we expected, and that there will be benefits for the entire ecosystem in Europe, cloud provider, including through the provision of new services and new software. So we haven't solved the problems of the world. We haven't solved all the issues of unfair competition on the cloud market, but we have achieved some result out of which we can be proud. And I would like to warmly thank Stefano for his support and for helping achieve such a result. So that's on your point about competition. And competition is still an open field. We have now, maybe you also seen in the press, we are very much active in the Broadcom VMware discussion, whereby a lot of European cloud provider were and remain highly dependent on these technologies, and the changes in licensing have created a very difficult situation for them. So competition is an important tool to enable a level playing field in the cloud market, but it's clearly, obviously, not the only angle. When it comes to gatekeepers in general, we advocate for a competitive market, a fair market in which all cloud service provider can compete on a playing level field and offer a diversity of services. For CISPE, the choice is the key word. Having a choice of a solution and services, and there is in the cloud not a one size fit all solution, and this solution are provided by a variety of players, including hyperscaler, including European provider. And we are of the view that no solution should be excluded, but the customer should have the choice of picking the solution that fits them better, whether it's a sovereign solution or a solution that is not considered sovereign. At the end of the day, both should be available, and both should benefit customers. So this is our view in terms of playing level field and competition.
Yeah,
it will always be like this.
Yes, thank you, Francisco. And obviously, we want to underline this is not a discussion to make competition smaller or easier for those in the European market, but we're talking about a fair competitive market, of course, with fair opportunities. And I know you're doing a very important work there, so thank you very much for this. And but let's now look a little bit into a specific country. And Alice, you represent here the French ministry. France has been known a long time to be one of the most active countries in Europe, trying to gain again, I should say, control about market share, sovereignty in the European data economy. There's a long story, starting also before 2018, but with 2018, both French and the German ministries of the economy, in that time, Peter Altmaier and Bruno Le Maire put a clear priority on boosting a certain sector. 2019, they agreed on a roadmap establishing also the common approach for developing a new European infrastructure and data ecosystem. And with new role now, Alice, France has been a front runner in the digital sovereignty, also with President Minister Le Maire, since the beginning of the European data strategy in 2019. So you're actually carrying this on. What's going to be the next steps? Where do you think is the objectives now for the next years out of your point of view?
All right. Good afternoon. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, very well.
Great. Thank you for the invite. Very happy to be here. First, I really just want to say that the French ambition to work on digital sovereignty together with European partners is as high today as it was during those political declarations in the late 2018, 2019, as well as when the French cloud strategy was launched in 2021. And I think the main goal was to solve this problem of tech dependency by making sure that we have European cloud providers that have significant market share, at least more significant market share, and I think we are underway, but a lot still remains to be done. So that's why the if you like, the ambition is still very high. Just a quick reminder of the 3 pillars of the French cloud strategy launched in 2021. First was certification to guarantee a level of legal and cyber protection for sensitive data. So that's been done on the French level, and there's still work in progress at the European level. Second was adoption of cloud solutions, including and starting with the government and public administration to lead by example. And thirdly, and that's what I'm working on at Bercy, is on acceleration strategy to develop more offers of innovative, competitive French cloud services, working also together with European partners. So that's been done at the national level, again, like hand in hand with other work at the European level on pro-competition regulations, such as the DMA, on shared data spaces, such as with Gaia X, as was already, as we've heard about, and also on certification schemes. But so digging a little bit further into this industrial policy aspect, if you like, developing and sustaining European cloud services and French cloud services, a lot has happened in the past 3 years with more than 500 million euros of French public contribution to cloud, edge, and immersive technologies over the past over the course of 5 years. And at the European level, the IPSAE has been mentioned as a key vehicle for collaboration, and there is this IPSAE on cloud infrastructure and services, which aims to develop a multi-provider cloud edge continuum, and that involves 109 businesses and research and technology organizations across 12 member states, and will provide, among other things, some open source components that all the rest of the ecosystem can build on for their solutions. So things are happening, but as I was suggesting, a lot still remains to be done if we want to correct the trajectory where we still have 75% of the market share of cloud in Europe that is occupied by non-European cloud providers, and especially the usual American providers. So we need to keep working. We need to keep working with European capitals to continue building this consensus on digital sovereignty, and we need to continue working with the ecosystems as well and help them or foster, if you like, their collaboration for new cloud solutions. And I think also a marketplace for European cloud services, such as what Dynamo is building, is a welcome initiative. And also we need to think already ahead. And I look back at the first panel that was thinking, yeah, those projects take a lot of time, but innovation is fast. And in France, we're already trying to tackle the ongoing revolution of generative AI with an ongoing call for projects for cloud services solution for AI. So that's ongoing. And I think we need to work more generally across and along the value chain, from computing power to AI models, to platforms, to services, so that indeed we can have the most of the value chain that is provided by through collaboration among all of these existing European actors.
I think, Alice, this is thank you very much. This is also a very great statement to talk also about the value chain here, basically bridging everything we heard throughout this panel by saying that this is a wild field, and we need to really make sure that every step in the chain we can really cover. It brings me also, by the way, to the point where I'm saying, with all the investments that we're successfully doing through thankfully through the European Commission, the data we are generating there, we really hope to see that data also kind of remaining in Europe, right? So it would have brought me to one more question here in this panel, because with all the investments happening, and we say data is the new oil, not a new slogan anymore. It's actually already old, but it's still very valid. We want to keep also the data and make sure that we can cover with what we're investing in, also with tax money, the whole value chain in Europe, or as much as it makes sense, obviously. We're a little bit already to the end of this panel. I would have loved to have another little chat with you about the upcoming projects, but time is short, so it just tells me we should make another panel out of that. So with that, I think you all made fantastic statements. We'll pick them up again, and I want to thank now in this case all our great participants to this panel. So thank you again, Ulrich Ahle, Manuel Mateo Goyer, Francisco Mignerons, and Alice Panier for this amazing input we got from you.